Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to give you my predictions for two wrestling shows coming this weekend. That's right, it's a double dipper, so sit back, relax, and listen to my predictions for Impact Wrestling Turning Point and WWE Crown Jewel. Two interesting shows, to say the least. We'll see how it goes. So first off, let's cover Turning Point. We start off with a little tag team match playa as Eric Young and Josh Alexander take on Subculture. That's Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. Now this show is over in the UK. It's actually been taped already, so I honestly don't know the results because I did not go looking for results. So, this first match is really interesting because it's, regular tag team versus, kind of a tag team, I guess. I don't know, but, I think I'm going to go Subculture with the upset here. I know they're trying to get Josh Alexander back to the top, but, I guess we'll see. Next up, we got the Knockouts in action as Giselle Shaw takes on Alex Windsor. I am not super familiar with Windsor, so that one's going to be interesting. I think I'm going to go Shaw. The Shaw Taraj obviously helps her. Next up, we got Rich Swann taking on Trey Miguel. Trey and Wentz actually just lost the tag titles. So, I'm pretty sure Zach is going to be around. So, I'm going to go Trey Miguel here. It just makes sense to me. Next up, back to the Knockouts. It's Jordan Grace taking on Danny Luna of Subculture. Grace is obviously the number one contender for Hard to Kill. So, I do not see her losing this early. At least not yet. So, Grace gets the win. This next match is very, very interesting because it involves another YouTuber. Although he has been training for wrestling, so he's definitely in there. As Joe Hendry takes on Simon Miller of What Culture fame. Man, this is an interesting one to call because this started over YouTube on Joe Hendry's cooking show, I believe it was. But, yeah, I think I'm going to go Simon Miller. I think that would be a great time for him. We go back to tag team action players as the most professional wrestling gods. That's Brian Myers and Moose. I will not be calling them that again. Take on Frankie Kazarian and Chris Sabin. Now, in this spot, it was supposed to be Alex Shelley, but he ended up getting hurt on this UK tour, so he wasn't able to join in. Well, with Sabin still X Division champion, they want to build Frankie up a little bit. But Moose also has the Feast or Fired World title case. So this is, I think Moose and Myers pick up the win here. They'll pin Frankie, I think. Next up, we got our semi-main event for Turning Point, as it's the Knockouts title on the line as Trinity defends against Deonna Purrazzo, with special guest referee Gail Kim. Oh, it looks like Gail is trying for an in-ring comeback. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I don't see Trinity losing this Knockouts title anytime soon. So, we'll see what happens there. And finally, our main event, or what I hope is the main event, in a first-time ever meeting, you have Will Ospreay taking on Eddie Edwards. And Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this match. It should be bonkers. I'm going to go Will Ospreay with the win because it just makes sense to me. They're in the UK. He's the UK's biggest export. To me, it just makes sense. Alright, that'll do it for Turning Point. We now move on to Crown Jewel, in which I'm gonna do a little PSA here. This isn't me condoning what's going on in Saudi Arabia with all the dehumanizing things, the murders, and now the sports washing to kind of set up Saudi Arabia as this great place to be. I'm just covering the wrestling show because honestly, it's a good looking card. So let's get into this one, where we have our first return of the evening, pre-show matches, in which we haven't seen these in since 2018, I think it was, which is absolutely insane. As Sami Zayn takes on JD McDonough. JD obviously looking to join Judgment Day, who are all over this card. We'll get to that in 2 seconds. But I think they are also trying to build up Sami Zayn as a legit contender for the world title, now that Kevin Owens is on SmackDown. So I'm going to go Sami Zayn here. Now we move on to the main card, as it's for the women's title, the WWE women's title. Sorry, gotta point that out, as Io Sky defends against Bianca Belair. Am I happy Bianca's back? Sure. But I feel like she needs more of an edge to her. Like, she's kind of turned into John Cena as the happy to be here babyface. It doesn't work for me. She needs a little something, and maybe a little adversity would do the trick. And I think Io Sky is going to retain. Next up, we got John Cena taking on Solo Sikoa. And what might be John Cena's last match in the WWE, with what I hope is the SAG Screen Actors Guild strike potentially ending. I know they've been making ground, but nothing has yet to be made official. So, I am going to go Solo Sikoa here. It's definitely a big stage, and him beating a big name like this makes sense. Next up, we got Cody Rhodes taking on Damian Priest. WWE kind of booked themselves into a corner with this one. Obviously, you don't want Cody losing that much more often, especially if he's going to go take on Roman. But you also have Damian Priest not only with the tag titles, but he's also Mr. Money in the Bank. So, what do you do here? I mean, it's more than obvious the rest of Judgment Day are going to get involved somehow. And then Jey Uso's going to get involved, and it's going to be very much overbooked, but I think Damian Priest is going to pull an upset here, and then maybe down the line we see Cody pick up a win against him. Maybe in War Games. Next up, we got the United States title on the line as Rey Mysterio defends against Logan Paul. Now, say what you will about Paul, the human being. He's a piece of shit. But as a wrestler, he has been absolutely killing it. So, I think this is where he picks up his first piece of WWE gold. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know Rey hasn't had this title long. But I think what's going to happen is Santos Escobar is going to get involved. He's going to turn on Rey. And then maybe we'll see what happens with the rest of the LWO. Next up, we had the Fatal 4-Way match, and it is for the Women's World title. As Rhea Ripley defends against Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. Obviously, this is WWE kind of stacking the deck against Rhea, which ultimately does make sense. But I think she's going to pull it out. Like, there is no reason to end this reign just yet. And, I think Rhea's going to retain. Next up, we had a solos match for the World Heavyweight title as Seth Rollins defends against Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Drew had the WWE title throughout the pandemic in front of absolutely no one, which is very sad. And they're playing this into a storyline, which is honestly really cool. Would that lead to Drew dethroning Seth? I'm not sure. Like, Seth is still super popular. He still gets his song sung by the crowd. I'm on the fence about this one. I'm not sure. But ultimately, I think I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. This world title, as much as I've been enjoying Seth's world title run, I think it's time to mix it up a little bit. Time to give it to someone new. And then, hey, maybe Seth wins the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't mind that. And find Alamo, what is more than likely going to be our main event, and it's for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship as Roman Reigns defends against LA Knight. And I'm going to say this, LA Knight ain't winning. Sorry to pee on someone's parade here, but this isn't LA Knight's title to win. Especially if we're going to try to get Cody versus Roman 2 at WrestleMania. So, I don't see LA Knight winning. More than likely, there's going to be shenanigans with the Bloodline, aka Jimmy and Solo, to maybe extend this feud a little bit. I don't know. Either way, Knight ain't winning. Alright, and that'll do it from me. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please like the video. Comment down below your predictions for either or show. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.